Hey everyone, Hoi Allemaal. Today I'm going to be transplanting some snowdrops, I believe they're called, sneeuwklokjes in Dutch. And I'm going to do some weeding, put down some cocoa shells, and show you some projects that have been going on, which I didn't film, but yeah. Let's get on. So along this border here there are a couple of snowdrops. There's a couple there, and in the back. And since we do most of the planting, right outside of this path, since this mainly gets used as to trim the ligustrum hedge, I decided that I would remove all the snowdrops from this particular spot, so that we can have, so that I can put down cocoa shells along this whole along the fence line, basically, and just make sure that the weeds stay down, and that we can just use it as a pathway and don't have to worry about, in this case, stepping on the snowdrops and also the weeds, because the weeds on this side usually get, I don't say they are worse, but there are a lot usually, and it's the more plants there are, the harder it is to weed, since it's very narrow and I have to crouch down and I get scrapes and bruises and all that. But for now I'm going to start with just removing snowdrops, also splitting them so they can get more and bigger, since some of them are quite big. And I was inspired to do this because I watched a video on IGTV from Klaus Dalby, who is a Danish gardener and has a lovely garden, and I will link his video down below. But yeah, I'm just going to first dig them up and we'll go from there. So this is what I ended up with. I could not get them all because they were much deeper than I thought, but I got quite a lot, as you can see, a couple of bulbs. And I'm going to be planting them. Camera! Beneath this Salix. I just looked up the name because I did an Instagram post about this, but now the name eludes me. But I don't know. The buds, or the flowers, are on their way. They're coming. So I'm just going to plant them right along there. I'll try to make a circle, but I'll see if I have enough. And I'll probably just dig a little trench around it, and then I'll just plop the snowdrops in, cover them, and water them in, and hope that they will come up again next year. So they are in the ground, and I made a sort of half circle, somewhat. Yeah, it's not the best looking, but hey, who cares? They're in the ground, and now let's see if they survive. But in other news, you can already see that this allium, well, most of the others also, but you can see the flower stalk is already coming. The garden is really coming to life. So the next job on the list, let's move everything. Is going to be something that I saw when I was getting water. I already noticed it before, but this pot, as you can see, lost something. So I thought of transplanting these in the ground to get this area, to try and get this area all covered up, because it's already full of weeds and I just weeded, and that's depressing. So I want it to be full of plants and not full of weeds. So I'm just going to put these in there, and since this pot is not salvageable, I'll just get rid of it, or I don't know. So that's in the ground. I planted a chunk here, a chunk there, and that's another one from a different pot. And these silvery ones, or gray ones, or however you want to call it, those I planted here, and I should know the name of them, but I don't. I wasn't as good at saving tags as I am now, but when we go to a garden center and I spot the variety, I can tell you the names. From this one, also this one, these all came from a pot that's behind me, so I also have no idea what the varieties are, but as you can see, they're also in there. And I'm thinking of asking my mother-in-law, since these pots are hers, if we can just plant them out in this area to make it full, since these seem to do very well, because this one is already spreading a lot, and this one is also spreading, and this one used to be, I think, also this color, but it turned a bit more red, which is beautiful. Yep. But we will see. I'll ask, and then I'll ask my boyfriend to help me plant, because this is, I think, perfect soil for them, because there's a lot of rocks in it and it does dry out. It's mostly, I would say, sandy, but when I do fertilize it, I usually don't when I fertilize the garden, I should say, I don't fertilize this spot, because I know that these plants don't like a lot of fertilization. So yeah, now I'll just focus on weeding the outer border, and I also think I will put down the cocoa shells, but I'll just time-lapse that. But first, let me show you some of the projects that me and my boyfriend did last weekend. Well, I don't know if you can remember, but there were a couple of extra plants in this spot which have been moved. There was Hydra there, which we removed totally. It went into the garbage bin because it attracted a lot of wasps, and those wasps attracted the European hornet. And I don't mind the European hornet, but it was very close to the house, and I was like, nope, that goes. And my boyfriend agreed. It went. There was a plant here which we transplanted, another plant next to it which we also transplanted, and another plant behind which we removed, which is similar to that one. It's prickly and it has a name. I don't know what it is in English, but in Dutch we say hulst. But that one on the end we removed it because it wasn't looking so good, and yeah, it was getting straggly. That one is probably also going into the bin. Yeah. Okay, work with me. So the idea now is the ligustrum hedge is going to, well, it now stops there, but it's going to end right in front of this fence line. Well, right in front of this fence, and then we will put another one right across here, just to remove this gate out of our sight, and then in front of it will be another planting bed. And let me show you. That is a plant. That plant we removed from the part behind me and put it here. Sorry. This was a very bare spot, and we hope it likes it here. It's very dry. That's something we have to think about. But we have to keep it watered at least for now, and then make sure. And we'll put down cocoa shells around it as to keep in the moisture. And there is the other plant that we transplanted, which is, well, I think it's in Dutch we say taxus. In English apparently that's a yew, but no idea if that's correct. It could be a subspecies, or I have no idea, to be honest. If you know what this is, let me know down in the comments below. Well, you can't see it anymore, but these are yellow flowers, berries, no idea. Well, I would say flowers when I look at them. So yellow flowers, which is pretty, that's why we saved it. And along this fence line we also want to do some planting. We want to put in lilac trees, hydrangeas, dogwood, and maybe even something lower than the dogwood, just to fill this up, and also that this gate is also not in sight as much from the road, and also just to add more gardens and plants and flowers and stuff. So yeah, that's it for the so that was it for this the update portion of this video. I will just go and weed that spot that I said that I will do, and then I think I'll also put down the cocoa shells. That will depend on time, but we'll see. And yeah. I just put down, I think it's going to be the first layer of cocoa shells along this border. As you can see, it starts or it ends there, depends on how you want to look at it. And it goes all along the outside. And I just watered it in. There's the hose I used, and yeah, so just along here, and that's the end of that job, and hopefully a lot less weeds. So that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, learned something, and yeah. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone. Dag allemaal.